Here's the truth. I have alopecia. I had no idea how much losing it would shape my identity. Honestly, I was scared. I didn't see anyone who looked like me. I carried my truth, and now my pain has turned into purpose. Hey y'all, welcome to the Baldie Diaries. This is my very first episode and my very first solo diary entry. And I wanted to move with intention because the Baldie Diaries is all about honesty. And before I invite anyone else into this space, I wanted to sit down with you and tell my story. The real reason I'm here and why the Baldie Diaries is here. Because here's the truth. I have alopecia areata. But before that diagnosis, before the bald head that you see now, I had hair. And I had no idea how much losing it would shape my identity. When I was little, I used to hate getting my hair combed, y'all. Like, did not like it. Not because I was tender-headed, but because it took so much time. I remember I was little, my mom would do twist in my hair, and I would sit there and it would be like, okay, you have to watch 3 movies so that we can get your hair done. And I would always pick, it was like Shark Tales and The Lion King and maybe like The Lion King too. But of course I'd put up with it because you don't want to go outside with your hair not combed. You represent the family, so if your hair's not combed, you look crazy, right? At least those were the messages that I got. I can still remember when I was little, my grandma brushing my hair. And she took every strand and just brushed through it. And she was a little stressed at the time, so it just calmed her. And you could see how much it calmed her to just brush through my hair. And if you know, you know. In the Black community, hair isn't just hair, it's culture. It's roots, it's creativity, it's connection. If you have hair, you have the ability to do anything with it. But here's where my story takes a turn. I have alopecia areata. By definition, it's an autoimmune disorder that causes your hair to fall out, sometimes in patches, sometimes completely, and there's no cure. When I was 12, I started getting patches, and they were really small. I didn't think much of it. I was in 6th grade. So I was worried about recess and friends, not my hair. I was on 2 different cheer teams at the time and just trying to make sure that I could fit in a community where I didn't look like everyone else. So I permed my hair and I was putting chemicals in it. I had weaves and traction alopecia. And to a point when I turned 14, it got bad. And I'll never forget my mom washing my hair in the sink and saying, "A big clump of your hair fell out." I thought she was joking, but when I saw it, it was a lot of hair. And one clump turned into many and it spread. Honestly, I was scared. In my mind, I was losing my identity. I didn't want people to see me with these spots. I didn't see anyone who looked like me. So my first reaction was wigs, right? Like there are things that we can do. But back then, 2014, wigs were not a big thing yet. So it was still kind of a taboo. And I'll never forget walking into the wig store and the clerk looked at me with pity and sympathy. And that was the first time I remember feeling shame so deeply. I was 14 years old and bald, right? And back in this time, most people would immediately think cancer. Nobody, when they saw bald kids, they didn't think, oh, she has alopecia, she's fine. No, she thought I was sick. And I felt that so deeply. And I can even remember the feeling right now because it hit me in my soul. And I tried on a wig, and I remember looking in the mirror and just crying. And my mom started crying because she sees how much this is impacting me, right? And it was just so deep. From that point forward, I knew that I never wanted to feel like that. And I carried that emotion with me. I carried that fear. I was scared someone would find out, scared my wig would fall off, scared to go outside without my wig. I carried my truth. I carried uncomfortability. I carried depression. And the worst part is I taught myself to hide because I didn't want to be out of the norm. I didn't want people to pity me. I didn't want to feel that feeling of shame. And not only did I teach myself to hide, I taught myself to be quiet. And the worst part is it was heavy, y'all. And Erica Badu was not lying. Like, you need to pack light. It is hard to carry all of that, especially going through puberty at the same time. it's horrible. It was an experience that I would not wish on anyone because I taught myself that having this diagnosis was much harder than it truly is. I taught myself that it's okay to not be yourself and to show up how society wants you to. And here's something I need to say. This moment is powered by whatever bold beauty brand decides to believe in bald magic. You know who you are, and the Baldie Diaries is waiting. This spot is meant for you. Let's get back to the episode. This is about honesty, as I said before. Alopecia wasn't the only thing I struggled with at this time, although when I was diagnosed with alopecia areata, these things did come along with it. I battled with anxiety, severe anxiety. I battled with depression, ADHD, and some days it felt like my mind and my body were fighting against me at the same time. And now, ironically, I am currently a resident in counseling. I spend my days helping others navigate their own mental health, and I'm working towards my license to be a professional counselor. But I never want anyone to forget that I'm still learning too, and I'm still living this. Now, years later, I see how much that hiding cost me. It taught me to silence myself, to shrink, to believe that taking up space was dangerous, to believe don't shine too bright because you'll blind others. Until one day, my old supervisor, shout out to Jenna, literally changed my life, amazing woman, told me, don't be afraid to take up space. And the entire time she's talking, I'm sitting there thinking, how can I take up space in other places when I don't even feel comfortable taking up space with myself, by myself? But the thing about alopecia is it forces you to confront who you are without hiding. It has been uncomfortable, yes, but it's also been freeing. I've had to admit to myself that my confidence was fake for so long, and now I'm learning the real me, my real identity. And at this moment, I've been out living visibly, quote unquote, for a little over a year now. And I wish back then I had somebody who looks like me telling me I don't need to hide because everybody can say hair doesn't define you, it's just hair. But when it comes from someone who did not lose their hair, it doesn't quite hit the same. You can say a lot of things like it's just another patch. It's not. It's not because there's no choice. The choice is taken from you. But for me, not having the choice is the equivalent to going in the store and saying, oh, I really want those shoes, so I'm going to choose those shoes, rather than someone saying, here are the shoes that you have to wear for the rest of your life, and you can't take them off, and you have to show everyone. That's why I'm here. That's why the Baldie Diaries exist, because I know I'm not the only one who has lived in silence, and we all wear wigs. Sometimes literally, sometimes metaphorically. There's a great TEDx talk by Joelle Crawford if you want to hear more about that. But truly, we all cover parts of ourselves to make others more comfortable or to feel safe. And losing my hair taught me patience. It taught me control. And not that I can control everything. Actually, it taught me I don't have control over what happens, how it happens, why it happens, but I can control how I respond. Alopecia taught me my pride is huge, y'all. Huge. My pride is bigger than anything someone could say to me, bigger than all the treatments that I've tried, bigger than my shame. And then my pride turned into pain. And now that pain has turned into purpose. Can I get an amen? If this podcast reaches just one person, someone shifting their identity or just starting to learn who they are, I hope that you hear me. I hope that you feel me. When I say this, you do not have to perform. You don't have to prove yourself. You don't have to fit the standards. You can show up exactly as you are, unapologetically, you, and just be. And I think there's power in just being. I think more people need to just be. Because if we're all hiding, then who are we as a society? We're making these rules that don't even exist based on things that we're all hiding. So, before I close, I want to leave you with two things that are new segments, of course, new segments, because this is our first show. This first segment I'll be doing often. and it is called Scalp Confessions. Scalp confessions are those funny, awkward, or deeply honest moments that come with living bald and not necessarily without hair. Bald meaning finding your identity, finding confidence, showing yourself out loud. It's a way of saying the things we usually keep to ourselves because sometimes the most freeing thing we can do is just admit it. And speaking vulnerability provides space for more vulnerability. It's time that we have these conversations. Dear future sponsor, if you love real stories, real people, and real impact, this is your moment. The Baldie Diaries has a place for you. Now let's get back to the episode. It's time for Scalp Confessions. One time, y'all? Okay. One time, while I was living in New York, shout out Brooklyn, I was at a party outside and my friend had come and seen me, and it was a day party. We were having a time, to say the least, and it started pouring rain. And I had glued this wig on, and it was like my everyday wig. And let's just say that the rain and the glue did not mix well. And when I say that wig slipped clean off my head, like clean off, y'all, in the middle. And we were all under this like bungalow type thing. And I guess the heat plus the water just did not mix well. And that wig fell off my head in front of everybody at the party. Granted, nobody knew. Nobody knew I was bald. And when it fell, I looked around and picked that up so quickly. I put it back on my head. I didn't care how it looked. I didn't care who was looking. I put it on my head and just acted like nothing happened. And pretty much everyone saw it because we're outside in the middle of a crowd, right? And it's raining. So there's nothing really more to look at. But nobody said anything. Nobody really asked any questions. And we just kept on with our night and had a good time. But my wig looked crazy and you could see my spots on the side. I still have videos of like my spots showing where I have no hair. You could see still the baby hairs. And that's really all I had. That was so embarrassing. I was so embarrassed. And that is my scalp confession. Now, I have a website where you can go thebalddiediaries.com and post your scalp confession. And again, vulnerability is power. Use your power and spread your story. You can be completely anonymous and go and share something that built your confidence to help build someone else's. And our second thing that we are going to do with each guest is a hot take. And my hot take about Baldie culture is you don't always have to be inspirational. You don't always have to be powerful. You are allowed to just be you and be bald. You can wear a wig. You can wear a head wrap. You don't have to be an inspiration with alopecia. You can just be. And I've seen so many powerful women, strong women. And I am tired of being strong, y'all. I know you're like, Angel, didn't you just start this podcast? Like, what do you mean? But it's hard to feel people's like, oh my gosh, you are so strong. I am just human. I am just a person who is going through something, but I am learning how to deal with this. And to hear that I'm so strong all the time, it's hard sometimes, right? It's not easy. So that is my hot take. So thank you for listening to my story. This was my very first diary entry of the Baldie Diaries. And now that you've heard my story, you're going to meet guests from all walks of life. Some are bald by choice, some from alopecia, some who have dealt with chemo, some who have male pattern baldness, and some, just like me, who are still learning to embrace themselves. Every story is different, but every single story matters. And trust me, this is just the beginning. You do not want to miss this. Signing off, yours truly, Angelique. This episode is brought to you by Future Abundance, because the right sponsor will feel aligned, authentic, and already on their way.